The greatest weapon ever introduced to mankind was education. The age of reason, or more historically accurate, the age of enlightenment, is an often overlooked but very, very important aspect of history, especially for those individuals in the world who are labeled black or Negro. This was a time in history when all truth, all systems of knowledge did a complete reversal. This was the beginnings of the New World Order. Before I delve into this vast subject, I'd like you to see dates so you can easily discern the timely, purposeful movement of these most impactful events. The first thing you should notice is that these events took place relatively swiftly. And in a space of about 700 years, so relatively recent as well. More importantly, the bulk of these events occurred during the Renaissance period, during the age of reasoning. What was the age of reasoning? The age of reasoning was an era in history that started around the 18th century during the height of the Renaissance, when Europe, released from the tutelage of the Moors, were free to put their spin on everything from science to history and, most importantly, philosophy. It represented a time when Europe was allowed to reinvent herself to herself and impose these ideas on the rest of the world. Men like Voltaire, Jean-Jacques Rousseau, John Locke, Kant, and Goethe all expounded the idea that reason and logic should be the authority by which all discoveries and decisions should rely on. No more should man rely on a distant, seemingly distracted God or Savior, but base all facts on man's devices. Though this may seem to go in direct opposition with the Pope and the Roman Catholic Church, the truth is the Church kept status quo throughout the period. What most don't realize until intense investigation is that the Enlightenment and the Church were one and the same at the very top, just as it is with most movements. Now, I could add other organizations to this list, but I won't. Just know that the church opposing the heliocentric model of Galileo was all propaganda. Just like Columbus attempting to prove the earth was round. It's all lies. But that's another video. The point is, the age of reason, or age of enlightenment, Illuminati, is what brought us our modern science, physics, medicines, and biological data we now consider fact. But one of the more obvious yet unacknowledged features of the age of reasoning was the New Age movement. This was nothing but Luciferianism dressed up as education and science, which all proceeds from the Zohar, or the Kabbalah. I won't suffer myself to argue with the educated or the enlightened, but suffice it to say, they've all overdosed on the Kool-Aid. I refuse to debate people who are using the books and teachings of the people who are known liars. Anyway, the Enlightenment period, as Immanuel Kant defined it, was the liberation of man from his self-caused state of minority. Meaning, have the courage to use your own logic and wisdom. So, it was a freedom, if you will. I suppose one could suggest it was the same freedom Satan offered Adam and Eve in the garden, according to the Gnostics. Satan freed man from the Most High's enslavement. This is the gospel of the Gnostics. My question is, freedom from what? Paradise? So we can enjoy this life? Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. This was just a short video to get you to thinking. But in closing, I just want to say, I hope that I can influence, coerce, or otherwise spark interest into some of this information, allowing some of us to take a deeper dive into this subject, because it's very important and very interesting. I can only brush the dust off of topics because I myself am still learning. Still an infant to such wisdoms. My hope is only that the people who've decided to leave this world system continue their journey in peace and truth. Remember, no one race is to blame. So instead, look for traits. If war, indoctrination, slavery, both mental and physical, a form of godliness, but not in their actions, deception, bloodlust, and racial insecurities are in their gene, then you're dealing with the seed of the serpent, the authors of the age of reason. Peace.